Welcome to Garage Gym Athlete Ask Me Anything. It's pretty simple. I'll be answering questions from the thousands of athletes that follow our daily programming. If you have a question or topic you want submitted, go to garagegymathlete.com/AMA. Let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Is it still me? I can't tell under all this facial hair.
Yeah, and people get to see it. Like if you don't venture to the YouTube channel often because you're listening to the podcast, like just go to YouTube maybe today just to see Joe.
It's quite unfortunate.
It's
just
worth
the
it.
hole that I'm digging myself in.
All right, so we're doing an Ask Me Anything. So I wasn't actually asked. So is this unsolicited advice?
Yeah, there you go. See, people aren't at the gym right now to get unsolicited advice, so we're just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and so I think I may have been asked, or I will be asked. I've done a year of MURPH 2 times. So I did it for a year. I took a long time off. Sometimes when I say that, people think I did it 2 years in a row, every week for a year. I didn't. I did a year of MURPH, took some time off, and then did a year of MURPH, and now I've been off for several months. And now all of a sudden, after having done it for 2 years already, Trampus gets an idea that he is going to do a year of MURPH. I announced that Trampus was around when I was doing the year of MURPH at the beginning, but he didn't commit. So he's making up for it. And he is apparently pretty good at talking people into really bad decisions.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's a skill, I guess. It's maybe he's in sales. I don't know.
What's the saying? You can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, now he's got, I don't know, it sounds like at least half a dozen Garage Gym athletes, if not more, hitting up a year of MURPH every week for 52 weeks. They started technically on Memorial Day. That was 0-0-1. And so now they're going to hit it up 52 times. And so my unsolicited advice and kind of what we are going to dive into is just, best advice for tackling 52 weeks of MURPH. But I want to start hypothetical because, Joe, you haven't done it. So I'd love to know your thoughts. If you were to start like today or on Saturday, a year of MURPH journey, what are some thoughts and considerations that you would be going into as someone who hasn't completed it? Just like what would you be thinking and how would you want to tackle it?
So at first, you're starting a new habit, and this is a pretty big habit to build, because even though it's once a week, it's still a tall order to ask what to do once a week. So I think the first month you just need to do any sort of version, start lighter, start easier, just to form the habit so that it's Saturday and you're like, oh, okay, it's MURPH day or whatever. Once a week you just know you have to do it for that time. So start off with just body weight. So don't do the vest first for the first month. I think that's even what you did and lowered your time some, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so start off with just body weight for like a month. Do it, start off with like 80% effort and then maybe build it up a little bit, and then get in your deload weeks. So once per month, I'd say make it a zone 2 MURPH, which is something that you didn't even start until after your 2 years of MURPH. I don't think.
No,
right?
I did it. Well, actually, you might be right.
It was like on the tail end of the first one or the second one.
Yeah, it was at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah, but so still incorporate your deload weeks. Keep it easy at first, and then after 6 or 7 weeks, you can either throw the vest on depending on how you're feeling. If your times are getting lower and you're really feeling like, okay, yeah, this is just my thing for once a week. And I think also what I would do is, I think you were very dogmatic or very strict about doing it on Saturdays. Like, it's a Saturday, that's what I'm doing it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say don't set yourself up for such strict parameters. Just try and tick the box for the week.
So you're saying like within a 7-day time period, you need to complete it.
Yeah. So say even if you did it on Saturday, but then the next weekend you're going away for a 4-day weekend, then just go, okay, well, I'll do it on Wednesday or Thursday, which there are people that have been doing MURPH on Thursdays for just whatever reason. Or they move their Saturday workout to Thursday anyway. So I think just as long as it's within a 7 or so day period, then that's fine. So a little bit of loose parameters at first, and if you really need to challenge yourself, then do that as it goes along. But you don't want to say you're going to start something and then fall off the wagon early.
Yeah. And so I don't disagree with any of your points. I would say moving in reverse to what you said, starting with the last thing you said about loosening up, like when it gets done. I mean, I think that's a very, that's good advice, because like, let's be realistic, doing something every week for a year can be challenging. So if it's just the physical challenge of getting it done, I think that's great advice. Part of the challenge for me was to do it on Saturday when I'm having, I'm on vacation or whatever, because it would force me to like, I remember one time this was during the first year of MURPH. I had to wake up. I think we were leaving at like 5 or 5:30 in the morning for a road trip, because we had to make it pretty far in a day. It was on Saturday, and the road trip was going to be like 14 plus hours with kids. And so I think I woke up at like 3:30 that day to do MURPH and then pack the car and then whatever, hit the road. And those are the things that's what makes it super challenging to me, is like to be able to get it done on that day. But I think Joe, having done it, like some of those days, like where I do it, it was like the last thing I did that day where I did it like 8:47 p.m., like way later than it should have been, but I'm getting it done. You're just kind of like pissed off. You're not trying to go fast. You just get it done. So realistically, if you aren't going to be a freak about the day, I think that's really solid. Also completely agree with Joe. It took my body, I think it was 14 to 16 weeks to fully acclimate to doing MURPH. And I'm talking about, I used to be wrecked when I would do it. I would do the workout. I'd be pretty tired that day. I'd go to bed early, like super sore the next day. And it took 14 to 16 weeks before that went away. So just letting everybody know, that's maybe some of your expectations. And I did do exactly what Joe said. The first year, the second year, I didn't do that, but the no vest, I didn't even own a vest when I started that project. So like I just did body weight until my vest came in, essentially. I think it was like first 4 weeks or whatever. And then I would mix it up throughout. So going between vest, every 10th one I would make really hard. That was one thing. If you want to like kind of just break up the monotony, have something to look forward to, do a double MURPH occasionally, Is that good advice, Joe?
Or double weighted.
Yeah, double weighted, triple MURPH, no vest, whatever. You can throw in and make it however you want. So yeah, those are kind of I guess all my tips and pointers, because don't worry so much about your performance. That'll come. I would say 1 out of every 4 was a performance MURPH for me, where I would be like, I'd be in the right attitude, the right, mentality, physically ready to be able to just be like, I'm going fast today. And then as you get further in the project, you want to do that more often, or you have the ability to. But yeah, I wouldn't start there. I wouldn't start with that. I don't go too hard, because one thing I did notice is like going too hard all the time. I seemed like my central nervous system was a little bit suppressed. And so I didn't have a strong desire to like lift heavy and all these other things. And I've talked about that on the podcast before. I would kind of check the box on those things, but I just felt a little bit different. I think that the intensity was too high on those Saturdays, and I wasn't balancing enough recovery. So I think that's it. But to your zone 2 point, there's some guy I'm following on Instagram who I think he was doing it. I don't know if it's like every day, or
there's somebody that tried to do it every day for like a month, which was just.
There's one guy who did it every day for like 52 days, and he's about to finish, or maybe he finished at Memorial Day or something like that. But what he did, he's one of our athletes, but he just had, I don't know, he's part of EO3. I don't know. Obviously, he's not following Garage Gym Athlete program if he's doing MURPH every day. But he did a lot of zone 2 MURPHs. Like, I think he did like 15 or 20 or something in a row. And what was really cool, because he would report like his time and his heart rate data, like his average heart rate, and his time came down and his average heart rate, decreased. And I just thought that was like incredible, because there's a zone 2 range, right? The upper zone 2 and lower zone 2. And so he was like getting faster times and being in lower zone 2. So I haven't done that, but I think that was just such a cool experiment that he kind of inadvertently did, because that means his fitness improved a great amount.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And last couple of things is if you actually are doing our programming and you're worried about like, okay, what's the best track to do while during this, it doesn't matter. Craig Lewis did his year MURPH, and he was training for strongman. So he's still focusing on his goals, but then still having the MURPH on the other side as like a side challenge. Just think of it in that light, unless you just really, really want to, say break a world record or something. So yeah, tracks is whatever you want.
Yeah. And I will be doing a lot more MURPHs than I planned. Kind of in light of this, in light of some other information too. I'm sure you guys will hear about it eventually, but I'll be throwing down, not for a year, but probably a lot for at least half of it. So, okay, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for not asking a question and me giving you unsolicited advice. If you do want to ask a question, which plenty of people do, you can go to garagegymathlete.com/AMA, submit a question, let us know what you think. Or you can even ask questions in the Facebook group. If you're there, let us know and say you want to see it on the show, and we can do that. But if you are watching on YouTube, we'd love if you subscribe so you get the video. You can see Joe's beard, which is really awesome, and it won't be around forever. So make sure you come back and see this stuff. Give us a like, comment on YouTube, and then 5-star review, positive comment on the podcast. But either way, you guys, thank you so much for listening or watching. I hope you enjoyed today's Ask Me Anything episode. So one more time, if you want to submit a question, topic, or idea, you can do so at garagegymathlete.com/AMA. And hey, while you're there, if you haven't already, sign up for Garage Gym Athlete membership. We are the best community and programming on the internet. I dare you to try and prove me wrong.